This is the Makerfocus wemos 18650 battery shield, and I just wanted to describe my experience with it and why I don't think it works good, at least if you're wanting to do something with the Raspberry Pi, which was what I wanted to do. I just needed a BMS for my damn Raspberry Pi. This was like $8, and I was like, sweet, I got tons of batteries lying around. I'll let's do this. So anyway, what I discovered is when the device is working, um, essentially it can't reliably charge the battery and run the Pi. So it really can't serve, at least in the testing that I did, as a BMS or as an UPS. As well as my shit broke, and I actually repaired it, and there was some serious flakiness, and I even went so far as to order another one because I did see a lot of good reviews on Amazon. So I thought, maybe my testing was botched and my repair impacted it, blah, 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 blah. But this one was DOA. So anyway, fuck these things, man. Fuck them. I'm still looking for a decent BMS solution, or, God, battery backup solution for my Raspberry Pi. There's one more that I want to check out, but I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. I may just build something myself because I don't understand, like, it feels like it should be a $7 solution, but then again, in all fairness, running off of USB, you have a limited amount of power. There's good excuses for instance, why this thing doesn't work right. So let me demonstrate really quickly what I'm talking about, and then maybe we'll look at the shit that was busted on mine and sort of the general issues that I had. So I guess to demonstrate what I'm talking about, so over here I've got a light running off of USB, and right now it's pulling maybe 200 milliamps, which, really isn't a lot. It's that one right there, and this is relative, right? So no big deal. We can yank the dude, and then we can power this guy. Let's get a battery in here. There's no battery protection, and they do tell you to be careful, and that's actually always the case with these giant batteries. Yeah, so when you plug it in, it will charge the battery. I can't remember if C1 lights up. I doubt it. L1, I think, lights up when it's finished charging. It turns green regardless. And I did run this through an entire charge and discharge cycle. And it did do okay in terms of not overcharging the battery and not over discharging the battery. But let's look at the output here. So right now this battery is a little bit discharged. So we're pulling 0.6. So 600 milliamps is going into the battery right now, and that's great. But remember, we had about 200 milliamps that we needed to run our LED, and a Raspberry Pi is going to be much worse than that. You might be pulling above an amp or 1.2 amps or who knows, or it's variable. But so when we actually plug this LED in and then throw the switch so it's powered, well, we're essentially running off a battery. And there's really nothing in the circuit that is going to, yeah, I mean, it could have stepped up a little bit there, but my point is, in testing, running a Raspberry Pi, and I don't remember how much current they actually pulled and all that shit, but it again, it's variable. You could be smashing the CPU in that thing and pulling a lot more current than normal, but my point is, over a 24-hour period, I ran with a battery deficit. So I went from a fully charged battery at, 4.1 volts or so. And after 24 hours, I was at 3.86. And running with a deficit like that, eventually I was going to run out of power. A couple more days and, this thing was just going to be cut off. So it was actually not possible to regain any energy that I'd lost, let alone act like a BMS or a UPS when the power was jerked. And of course, you can see, like, I can jerk the power here and the LED will continue and we start pulling zero milliamps there, but yeah, there's just there's a deficit. So I don't really know what component is missing electronically. I mean, they have a nice little boost circuit that does give you a decent regulated output. And conveniently, they give you, a 3 volt, which I think I measured this one at 3.1, not 3.3. And the 5 volts, I think, was at 5.1. I didn't test how much current I could pull on either one. But I can attest that it could power my Raspberry Pi. It also didn't reboot when you plugged it back in. But it also was not going to act as a UPS. So anyway, that's my experience, and I don't see a way to fix it with the components that are on here. But then again, I'm not exactly the sharpest tool in the tool shed. So I guess real quick, the other thing is that I let this board sit on my desk for about a month. And granted, my desk is not necessarily a safe place. I mean, look, I just got shit everywhere. But after kind of revisiting this thing, and I was like, man, like, I sort of failed and didn't really have my Raspberry Pi. I probably had a damn power outage or something and got pissed off again. And I plugged this all up and it didn't work. The little light didn't charge. It didn't come on. It's coming on now. And anyway, basically there were some dry legs right there. And in fact, these still look shitty. I didn't touch up all of these, and in fact, it was a giant fucking pain in the ass because my fuse blew on my damn. Actually, it didn't blow. It deteriorated on my Air workstation, my Air rework station. So I couldn't conveniently work on this thing. I had to do it with an iron, which is fine. It's just between my old eyes, and actually those don't look as bad as I thought. Maybe I did touch those up. But anyway, I had to resolder those legs. One of them was just sitting on top of the solder. And it must have been, working, but it just wasn't really super crazy happy. I didn't spot any other dry solder joints, but then this resistor was bad, and honestly, I just bridged it. I couldn't read what it was anymore. So whatever. And those two things brought the board back to life, and I haven't tested it to make sure it's, got the right cutoff voltages and things like that now. This board is pretty much dead to me. But after all of that, I was like, well, maybe I just got a bunk board, and I ordered another one, and it was DOA. So it doesn't even function, which is a bummer, because I did want to see this little dude work. I also thought that maybe for other projects, like powering a a much less needy device, maybe you could gain battery back, and this would be a good ups, since it does seem to not interrupt the power. But you can see this guy's dead. I haven't done any real troubleshooting on this guy yet. In fact, we'll just look real quick. Sorry, I know I have a shitty camera. I mean, that guy looks pretty dry. I can't fucking see anymore. I can't do it without a fucking camera. I'm like an old man. Meh. Maybe. I mean, maybe. It's really hard to see. These look okay. Uh-huh. That guy, well, at least I can get the value off that, I guess. Would that be a 40 ohm or 4 or something? I don't know how to read those little dudes. Let's see what else we got. I haven't even checked, because even without the charging working, I had, well, off and on, I had 5 volt and 3.1 volt regulation on the other one, but yeah, whatever. Wemos. I don't see anything obvious here, but I had my those look barely on there. Hell, maybe it is charging. The LEDs just aren't connected. That's like barely on there. Again, sorry, I don't have an awesome camera. The other thing I don't like about this thing is this USB port setup is going to be really weak. All it doesn't go through the board. Look how dry those are. See, maybe just hitting that will fix this thing. I don't think that guy's even touching on the end there. Again, wish my... Yeah, there you go. There's your problem. So, I guess it does have those little feet. I didn't realize that. I I thought the USB was a little bit weaker, because I would prefer it to go through the board, at least for the mounts. These side guys, you can just rip that tab up. But look, I mean, that's just clearly not even on. So that's the problem with this one. So Um, well, in the interest of science, I will go slap an iron on that real quick, like, and see if I can get that seated. Zenheit, and see if we can get this thing working again at least. All right. Pretty sure I properly butchered this one. Oh my god. Look at that. I went in too hot because I was trying to get the thing seated. I even had some new USB connectors like this somewhere and I couldn't find them. But anyway, horrible soldering job aside, which I'm pretty embarrassed about that. Let's see. Yeah, so that was it. So kind of the same story over here, I guess. You know, we're pulling half an amp. Let's. Oh, I lost my light. Shit. See if we can find something else to charge. I don't have just like a USB load. That would be. Yeah, that's what I should have asked for Christmas. So I'll just charge my screwdriver here, which I have no idea what state it's in. Well, that didn't budge. I've got a flashlight. Nope, I stole the battery out of that. That's pretty interesting. I think for the first time ever, OBS just stopped recording. But I was moving a window over, so maybe I hit stop recording. But not much happened. I just verified that this thing doesn't work. It is not, in my opinion, you know, especially in RPi ups. And then I actually checked this guy out, which conveniently has a 8266 on, you know, slapped on the back of it. And at least from what I could tell, nothing showed up in dmessage. So I kind of thought I was gonna get a USB device. I don't know what this unnamed chip is emulating, but for me nothing showed up, so I don't know if this is programmable through the USB port. I mean, it kind of looks like you got ground and power there. Let's see. I fucking hate these black fucking circuit boards. Nerp, nerp, derp. Yep, no fucking clue. I'll read up on this guy, but for me, nothing showed up in dmessage. So it's either just fucked because it's not built well, or you have to actually do the programming through here with your own TTL device. And look at this shit. I mean, is that even fucking connected? Dude, that doesn't even look connected. Barely. Look at that. On each edge. Some of these are, but look at those guys. Yeah, man. You know what? Makerfocus, who sells on Amazon, I like them. I mean, they sell neat shit, and for some of the shit they sell, they've posted, you know, some example code sometimes. I just bought this thing on a whim, but I wouldn't buy any of the shit that they sell made by Wemos. Cause that just looks fucking shitty. Who's missing there? Is that even supposed to be populated? Yeah, this, I mean, I'm 2 for 2. Other people that said the RPi thing worked must have only waited a few days, because look at that. That pin doesn't look connected. Am I fucking tripping again? Anyway, I need to read up on this thing before I even bother doing a review, but it looks kind of dry. I can't fucking tell. No name USB chip. Assuming it is a USB chip, I would think it would be a bunch of just barely soldered on shit. Anyway, yeah, I don't think I'll ever buy anything made by Wemos again, because it's pretty bad. It's cheap, but it's bad. Unless you want to learn to fix electronics, which I don't.